cherish all the time you spend, you tuned in to. It's time again to cherish all the time you spend, you tuned in to. It's the number one podcast. The topics of discussion when we broadcast. So all them artificial man jokes, we do it natural from the concrete to a public standpoint. Real, wherever you're from, life is coexisting, but to know the real, you just gotta listen. Wherever you're from, life is coexisting, but to know the real, you just gotta listen.
What up, everybody, and welcome to the 52 Scott Podcast. This is For Women Wednesday. I'm your host, Freddie G, joined by my co-host, K Money, Slash, and Comedian 96. Collectively, we are the Mind of Men. Don't forget to follow us on X, formerly known as Twitter, at 52 Scott Podcast. On Instagram and Facebook, the 52 Scott Podcast. And for all my YouTubers, don't forget to like and subscribe. And welcome to another Women Wednesday. Okay, if you're a sports fan, you know the three major U.S. sports are the NFL, the NBA, and the MLB. And every year, teams hold professional drafts to select new prospects. Over the years, I've watched several drafts, especially the NFL draft. And I love seeing the joyful display of emotions when a prospect name is called. It makes me wonder about their journey and what it took for them to get to draft day. I'm sure for some, the journey is harder than others, especially the black athletes, simply because many of them come from the ghetto and are raised by single moms. For those who know, putting a child in little league sports costs money and time. So, if mom is single with no help, she pays the cost for extracurricular activities. Not to mention schooling the children on how to behave in sports and all these things, helping with the with bringing them up, right? Now, she schedules her day to keep the child going to and from practice. She has to do that. She dedicates her weekends to attend games, and this goes on for years, right? Now, on the flip side, some of the prospects are offsprings of professional athletes, meaning their father was once a professional athlete. So there's a good chance that those kids grew up as suburban kids with better resources and possibly a better support system. Now draft day is here. And guess who's front and center? Mom. And depending on what kind of relationship the prospect has with dad would be in attendance. Now, after the prospect signed their first contract, in most cases, the prospect would take care of mom. And usually that's in the form of buying mom a new house, a new car, or whatever she may need or want. And as for dad, if their relationship is cool, he'll look out for dad too. He may buy dad a new car or put some money in his pocket. Now, if both parents are together, but their living conditions have always been a struggle, then the prospect may change the living condition of his parents by buying them a new home in the suburbs and new vehicles. Bottom line, for the most part, the prospect will look out for the parents. So fellas, here's the $1 million question. If a child grew up to be financially well off, is he or she obligated to look out for their parents?
I mean, you would hope so, but I think this is going to be a case per case type of situation, because if it started at the home with the parent, putting this child in sports, football, whatever they good at, if you was doing it for the success of the child, or were you doing it, just kind of your heart, were you doing it so the child could be successful to help you? Were you looking for a blessing in this? I think at this point, the mind frame of that person is going to make the difference on whether or not they feel that child should do something for them. You would hope you raised your child the right way to understand that if you did have anything to do with them being successful at something, that they would reach back, even if they not successful at nothing, You want your child to look back and say, Mom need a hand, Dad need a hand, let me help. If you didn't do that, you didn't raise them right. So it's going to be your fault at the end of the day if your child don't take care of you.
I'm going to piggyback off of some of that you said, Slash, but I do feel that, as parents, we make an investment in our kids by like you said, Freddie G, sports can be expensive, whether it be football, baseball, or basketball. AAU is year-round. Football, you have these camps. So if a parent is willing to continue to support their child as long as they're doing good in school and supporting them in that aspect of reaching, it may be a childhood dream to be a football player, baseball player, or basketball player. So if a parent is supporting that child in doing so, I do feel that, I'm not going to say obligated to take care or break them off, but I do feel that they should, show their appreciation and gratitude by doing something, for the parent. But I wouldn't say obligated. That's a strong word, but some people may feel that, they are owed. But again, if you're doing it out of the kindness of your heart and just the love that you have for your child and you just want them to be successful, you're really not looking for anything in return. But truth be told, I may expect something if they do make it big.
I would hope you take care of your parents.
Well, I beg to differ. I agree with you, Slash, when you say you hope you raise your kids right. But honestly, it's their life, right? Yeah, I would hope that they would come back and lend a helping hand if like I tell my daughter, if your mother got sick or I got sick, we're not your responsibilities. Your life is not to take care of us. We're here to take care of you. We're the parents. We should have had the 401k set up. We should have had our from 65 to 85 once we retire. We should have had a plan already. We shouldn't have to depend on our child to help us. If they come by, oh, dad, mom, I'm going to bring you some groceries. That's cool. But as far as your life, spending your life assisting me or your mom, I think that's just messing up that child's life. They have a life of their own. They probably have kids. So now you got to take care of my grown parents and their own kids. Nah.
Well, I don't think the question was to take care of, right, Freddie G? It was just
well to look out for in whatever way that may be.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can take care of a parent in situations, but taking care of a parent doesn't necessarily mean long term. It could be in situations, or it could be long term. The bottom line is, as a parent, do you invest in your child with hopes that he or she will pay you back later?
I just want my child to be successful.
Because
I don't want nothing in return. I just want them to be better than me.
You know what? I'm actually in agreement.
Yeah, I agree with
I
that.
100% like for real.
Yeah.
If my children was to become millionaires,
Yeah.
look, I'm not looking for you to do nothing for me. If you choose to do something, man, great. I really appreciate it. But no, you're not obligated to do nothing for me.
Exactly.
So I'm actually in 100% agreement with you.
And I think that that's the proper way to feel. But at the same token, if you have raised your children in a certain way with respect for you and respect with others and what they help you with, and you've given your child this opportunity to be successful in life, and they've taken that opportunity, and I go back to this because it's the truth. If you raise your child right, you ain't got to worry about them doing nothing for you. And it ain't about them doing nothing for you. They already understand that this is what needs to be done, because my parents took care of me when I didn't have nothing and I couldn't take care of myself. So it all starts with raising them right. And yes, you should expect them to do something if you've given them an opportunity at a career. You know what I'm saying? Unless you are already in that field and you just bringing your child in. That's different. If you raising your child within this industry already, you shouldn't expect nothing. But if you are funding the college, You trying to make success out of your child to benefit your family. Period.
So let's remove money now. Let's say you just got a little job and you paying your bills, you keep yourself up to par, and you've been able to take care of yourself, and your child got a job and they're being able to take care of themselves or his or herself, and you, let's say, $60-$70 short on a bill to pay a bill.
Me.
Yeah, $60-$70 short to pay a bill.
And my child got a job.
And your child got a job.
And we live in the same house.
No.
Okay.
Your child is
they don't need to give me nothing.
Yeah. Okay. So.
But that's a different story than where we going right here.
Yeah. No. That's why I intentionally said take money out, because here's the thing. The reason why I mention this is because the money side is different. Meaning that these children have become millionaires. And if you notice at the beginning, I said some of these children road was different than the others because some come from the ghetto. But then some who were born, they made it to become millionaires, but their father, somebody was a professional, was a professional athlete. Also, so genetic. Well, not necessarily brought them into genetically. Things worked out for them, so they too made it to the NFL. So not only are the parents rich, but now you're rich. So now, how do you look at the dynamic?
They don't need to give you nothing. That's why I was saying, if you already in an industry and you doing it, and your child comes into the industry, they don't owe you nothing.
I agree.
But if you funded and paid for a successful person in your family, I think that should be looked at. And I'm not saying that you're supposed to deserve nothing, because God is the only one that's going. If He allow it to happen, then that blessing is for you.
So when you say funded, right? If
you pay for college,
yeah. So if you were a professional athlete and your child, you pay money for your child to be in Little League, you pay child all the extracurriculars, then your child went to college, and you help pay for college in addition to whatever scholarship they earn, if they earned the scholarship. But you funded, hey, here's a car, here's this, you did, but you're rich and you help along the way. All of the things that a normal parent would do is just to be on a smaller monetary scale because they can't afford to do. So at the end of the day, you still help your child, but now your child make it. And so the thing is should parents, even if I'm rich, but I bought you a car, I paid for this, I paid for you to do this here. Even if I'm rich, should parents expect their child to pay them back in some way?
I don't think that they should expect them to pay them back, but again, out of appreciation and gratitude for what the sacrifices the parent made in the investment that they were making as the child was growing up, I just feel that they should do something. And like Slash said, if they were raised right, I think that they will automatically, do something. Even if the parent is not. Even if the parent is in a good financial position where they don't even need it, now it's just appreciation.
Now, if you're not in the child's life as a parent, you better not expect nothing.
Okay, and I'm glad you said that.
So can I make one comment? Go ahead. Going back to Slash's, if you raise your child right, if you fellas can remember, I know I did this. I grew up in 3rd Ward, of course, here in Houston, in a poor neighborhood, and I was poor growing up. But then I joined the military, so that was the most money I ever made when going into the military, even though it wasn't no money. But it felt like I was rich. So whenever I hit new ports, when I went to Japan or when I went to Thailand, I always send something back to my mama. Mm-hmm. So I felt rich, even though I wasn't, but I did something because of how I was raised.
Did you feel obligated to do that?
I did not.
Okay.
I just from
but
my heart.
It was from your heart.
Yes,
you was raised right.
Yeah, my mom.
Because you was raised right.
Right.
That's
exactly.
what it's going to boil down to.
So, had you not sent anything back or anything, you think your mom would have been upset with you?
No, not at all.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I feel that. So now, what if a child is into millions, come into millions, wasn't born with a silver spoon, mom got a decent job, dad got a decent job, mom still live in the ghetto, but mom lives in the suburbs, but no rich area, but just enough middle class, right? And son becomes a millionaire or daughter becomes a millionaire. And mom said, and you see mom ain't hurting for no bills, but somebody say, hey man, you gonna buy your mama a house or a new house now that you're a millionaire? Or you gonna buy your mama a new car now that you're a millionaire? Because she took care of you, she looked after you. And now this is a private conversation between the son and his homeboy. And that son says, well, I didn't ask to be here.
Yeah.
I don't owe her anything.
Don't you bring your ass to my house.
Yeah, you ain't lying.
Ever again. If I find out that's how you feel, don't you bring your ass to my house. And keep whatever you made, your money you made to yourself, you go ahead and do that. Don't bring your ass over here. Because you say you didn't, hell, you what? And I didn't have to take care of your ass. I could have said to hell with you and put you in the dumpster like some of these parents do when they can't take care of their kids.
You a little hot there, sir.
Because it's touching. It touches me to feel like a child.
So what if he said, or she said, if she didn't say I didn't ask to be here, but what if during that conversation with her homeboy, homegirl, whatever, and she said, well, I don't know my mama anything. They say, well, you gonna look out for your mama, you gonna look out for daddy. Now they live in middle class area. They not rich. She got a job. Mom got a job. She pays her bills. She don't have a hoopty, but she don't have a brand new car. And you say, hey man, you're me, and then you gonna buy your mama something? And he's like, man, I don't owe my mama anything. And besides, she wouldn't want me. She'll want me to take care of me. She'll probably say, baby, you ain't got to worry about me, like most parents do.
Right.
You ain't got to worry about me, baby. And so he literally takes his ass. You ain't got to worry about me.
But I'm not gonna tell my child that you ain't got to worry about me. That's not gonna come up in the conversation.
Yeah.
So, if you and your child, let's say your child was in high school, and your child say, Dad, when I get rich or when I get grown, I'm gonna be a doctor. I'm gonna be a doctor, a heart surgeon.
How you gonna get there?
And no academics. He earned it. He ain't pay. You ain't pay for nothing.
Okay.
Academics.
I ain't had to come out my pocket for a thing.
Academics. I'm gonna be a heart surgeon. But Dad, I see you around here struggling, and you try to take care of the best you can or whatever.
Thank you, son.
And when I become rich, I'm gonna look out for you.
Thank you, son, because I'm gonna need it.
You know what? Now, there's nothing wrong with that. But
because he may not get to that point.
I've actually had this conversation, by the way. And what usually comes out of my mouth is, hey, man, take care of your family first.
There you
Don't worry about me.
Don't worry. Yeah.
You make sure you
man.
take care. If you want to do something along the way, that's fine. But make sure you take care of your kids, your family, man. Take care of your family.
Here's and that's fine. That's a good way to look at that. That's an humble way to say it. But at the end of the day, if you struggling and he taking care of his family and he's still whoa,
say you was struggling.
But no, it's a whole different story from where we going.
Yeah.
But if your child made this money and taking care of his family while you struggling, and you told him take care of your family, but you need him right now. Son, can you please? And he tell you, Dad, I'm still taking care of my family. Because you said that now.
Yeah.
You can't be upset with him.
No. Yeah.
Your words matter.
No, nobody's talking about being upset. But here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. As men, how prideful are we to be like, I need some money?
Yeah.
We don't never ask nobody for that.
Exactly.
Okay, so
that's a mind thing. We that's here stuck in our head.
My child is not my not child. They're not. And I'm not their responsibility.
And don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that if one of my daughters right now today they do their thing. I don't ask them for nothing. I've never told them you owe me nothing. I care less. But knowing your financial status now, if that grew into more money, and you see I'm still where I'm at, and I'm still working hard, I'm taking care of myself. That's good. But if you lend a helping hand, I'm not gonna turn you down.
Exactly.
And I'm not gonna say don't give me nothing. I'm gonna accept it.
That's what we're actually all saying that. We're all saying it just in different words. We're saying that if you offer, okay, cool, appreciate it. We're all saying that. We're just saying
but you don't owe me nothing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Unless there's an unless, bro. Because you can't tell me
Unless
if I'm working a job and paying for you to go to college for how many years you went and your college tuition been 50-something thousand a year, I done spent 200-something thousand out of what I could have been living my life for the hell with helping you in your future. You understand? But
I got you.
This is serious.
I feel you on that one. I normally wouldn't say, because I am a firm believer that my child, I'm not her responsibility. I'm not either of my children.
But if you're helping, you're helping for the benefit
and that
of your
one,
family.
if I'd have
Man,
paid
you gotta keep it a buck.
$200,000,
You got to keep it
Come on,
100,
man.
bro. If you struggling and your child is extremely successful, but they're not,
You're gonna disown your child.
they're not breaking you off, and you're not,
Nah,
we're
you
not
gonna
asking for
have
shit, but they easily can help you
I
out.
would feel some kind of way.
But you're gonna have problems with your child.
so-
But they don't owe you nothing. No.
They don't owe me nothing.
So what I'm saying is keep it real within yourself.
Yeah,
If
so
your
why would you feel
child
some
get
type
that
of way
money,
if they're not
If
responsible
I
for you?
paid $200,000 for their college education, it's a difference in middle school, high school, elementary. That was free. But now I'm shelling money out of my 401k,
So now you're
out of my
expecting-
savings. No, I mean, if that's
It
a lot. $100,000.
But so now you're expecting them.
I'm not expecting anything, but at the same time,
You just said you would feel
it's
some type
how
of way.
I would feel some. Depending on how my child's raised, like we go back
that's
to
the
that.
main thing.
That's
But
the
what I'm
main
saying,
thing.
as a parent, mentally,
I wouldn't say anything, but if they
You
did
shouldn't have to
nothing,
say
I
anything.
wouldn't
you're not
say
supposed
anything.
to say nothing.
I wouldn't say
But
anything.
here's the thing, and if you want to say something, your child's old enough to talk to them.
Right.
You can say, "Hey, look here."
I'm not gonna throw it in their face.
Now you don't throw it in their face, but you
Nuh-uh.
tell them. But you tell them, "Hey, look, I'm doing what I can for you, because I feel you deserve this. I'm taking from money that I could do, but I'm helping you because I need you to be a better person who you are.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So just take this money, do what you got to do, and become great. Now, you watching this because you're not paying $50,000 a year for your kid to go to college and they fucking off. You're going to stop that. But this child is going to do what they supposed to do every day, and they getting their lesson, and they graduating, and they getting their degrees. That child was raised right. So you ain't got to worry about them coming back giving you nothing. But if you paying this money for this child and they going in there and they going to school and they fucking off, don't you expect nothing back from that kid? Because they don't give a damn that you're trying to help them.
Yeah, that kid, then I know.
But that's why I say it's a case by case.
It's case by
situation.
case. Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
Case by case.
I got a question, fellas. I'm gonna throw a twist to this initial question that we were asked. Now, we've invested in our children, like you just stated. We spending money for them to go to college.
Mm-hmm.
They get their college education degree, all of that, but they're not using it, and they end up going to the streets.
Right.
Now they're making their money from the streets.
Right.
Would you guys still accept that money?
Don't give me none of that.
Don't give me
shit.
that. I wouldn't take the street money. Nah, I wouldn't.
Because that ain't what I
That ain't what
and you know what?
yeah.
Now I'm pissed off because this is what
You
you're doing.
waiting? I bet
and
I done
done
wasted my
wasted
goddamn money for you to do this shit here.
Yeah.
That's it. Right?
Okay.
I would just look at him as a failure at that point.
I hear y'all use $50,000 a year. I heard $200,000 overtime for the whole
Overtime.
college.
Yeah.
So, here's my thoughts. First of all, if you're able to give your kid $200,000, that means you got some money sitting there somewhere because there's so many student loans that they could get on their own. There's
pay for
so
that.
many scholarships out there. There's so that they can do on their own. But if you're able to go in your pocket or go in your wherever you got your money at to give them that type
got
of money,
something.
that means that you got some type of money. Because if you sit back and think about it, if you don't have the money, there are too many parents who have kids
that don't
who
have
graduated from college
and don't have the money,
and the parents never had the money.
They can't send you to college,
and they couldn't send it, so the kids had to go get it and do it on their own.
And
right?
Then you don't owe your parents nothing.
So
but help if you can.
Here's the thing. So now, that's speaking from an academic standpoint. But if your child is athletic and they put in the hard work, because after Little League,
it's another
everything else,
it's on
middle school, high school, college.
That costs.
No.
It's on the child.
That's on the child work ethic.
The performance.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So now that you in middle school, mom ain't got to get you to practice. You practice at school.
Mm-hmm.
High school, you get your butt go to practice.
But what about the off season? That's
what about
the off season?
That's where it costs.
Usually, the off season is them kids by themselves. Mom or dad ain't taking them kids. If you're in high school, and them 7-on-7s and all of that stuff, and the coaches themselves.
That shit don't cost.
That mom's going on the trips, the AAU, that stuff costs.
No, like the 7-on-7, that don't cost.
Well, let me put it to you this way. If you're decent enough,
somebody will sponsor you.
Mom ain't coming out of pocket like she was when you were little.
Keyword: if you decent enough. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can get a sponsor.
Hey, you could be halfway decent.
You can get a sponsor.
You can be halfway decent, and these coaches put in the work. It will help you get through with some stuff. So so let me ask y'all this: which parents y'all think would be the most upset if a child didn't look out for them?
The mama.
Which parent do you think would be the most? Say the mama. Which parent do you think would be the most upset?
The mama.
I'm gonna say the father. If he's present and active in the child's life, the father is gonna be the most.
So let me repaint. Okay, I like that. So let's do it this way. Mom and dad both are married. Mom and dad lives in the house. Mom and dad both raised the kid, and dad had his role. Mom had her role. Sometimes dad take kid to practice. Sometimes mom take kid to practice. But they both show up at the game together. Support, loud bull horns and everything. That's my baby. Now, with that being said, if kid don't look out, which parent would be mostly upset?
The dad.
I still say the mom.
In that scenario, I think they on the same page and they both equally upset.
The only reason I'm going to say the reason why I'm saying dad, let me say that in a two household parent, two parents in the household, mom and dad, and they both supportive of the child. The reason why I say the dad is because 9 times out of 10, the dad is the one who holding up the payments for everything in the house. If he's the head of his household, he's making sure everything's being taken care of financially.
Yeah, but the mom birthed her.
And that's why the mom's going to be proud of her child no matter what, whether you give me nothing or not.
Yeah.
She's not going to care. My baby doing good.
Yeah, she's doing that nurturing. Nurturing.
But the dad is like, shit, we need some help financially around here. You got the money. You need to come on kind of look out for us. Your mom going to love you, whatever, but I'm out here struggling, paying for stuff. I need some help. So the dad is going to be more upset than the mom is.
Yeah, okay. In that situation, I feel the dad would feel the pressure the most because, he's the provider. So he's the one that's, like I say, mom is doing her nurturing role and dad is doing his providing role.
Okay, now, y'all heard me use sports analogy at the beginning of the show, the NBA, NFL, and MLB, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that tells me, I'm assuming that when we were discussing all of this here, we had guys in mind, right? Boys, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Now, which parent would be the most upset if it was a girl and she became successful, whether it's a high-powered millionaire lawyer, a WNBA player, or high-powered Simone Biles gymnastics, Venus and Serena tennis? If it was a female, which parent would be the most upset?
Go ahead, Slash.
The mom. If it's a girl,
and to
the
me,
mom gonna be pissed off.
to me, it's if she was daddy's little girl, it's gonna be the dad. I'm sorry if it was daddy's little girl, but if anybody, if she's just equally close to mom and dad,
it's a difference with the different when it comes to male and female with mom and dad and mom, because I got daughters, bro, and they ain't gonna have to. I wouldn't be mad if they ain't never gave me nothing.
You
if
know
they
what?
made million.
You got a
they
point.
Girls.
You got a point.
I'm glad. I'm proud of you.
I'm switching back to the mom.
But
right.
the mom
got a
gonna be
point.
mad because she gonna say, I showed you everything of how to be a woman, this, da 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 da, and you ain't got this part figured out where we need help financially.
I'm switching
So
back to the mom.
if you were struggling and your daughters were millionaires, you wouldn't.
I'm not gonna ask them.
You're not gonna ask them.
But because I know them, I'm not gonna have to ask.
That. Yeah, I got you. My I'm gonna still say the dad. It will be upset the most. But I feel what you're saying.
If it was girls,
yeah. If it was a girl, if the child was a female and they were successful, I still think the father would probably be.
And I want to use a person as an example of why I would understand him being mad. Venus and Serena dad. If he did all of what he did for them girls to become successful and they didn't try to reach back and help him,
right?
I could see him being pissed off.
Yeah, because he
worked for that.
Yeah.
Okay, so
sacrifice.
So just to tie it all up in a little bow before I close, one more time around the table, starting with you, Slash. I want you to give me male and female. So, which parent would be the most upset if it was a boy that became successful?
Two-parent household.
Two-parent household. Boy became a successful, but didn't look out. Which parent would be the most upset?
The boy became successful
Yep.
and didn't look out. Come back to me. Because this sounds different from the question you asked earlier.
Check it out. No, here it is.
This sounds different.
I painted the picture. I say, hey, everything is in a good world. Both parents parent come from a two-parent household. Got support from dad. Mom and dad both took them to practice. Mom and dad both at the games. Blah 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 blah. Then I said, well, which parent would be? So the question is, if it was a boy, and he came from a two-parent household, and he became successful.
Who's going to be upset?
If he didn't look out for the parents who live in the same household, mom and dad love each other, get along good, who would be more upset?
The dad.
Okay. If it was a female, who would be
mom.
more? Okay. Comedian 96, same scenario. If it was a boy, who would be upset?
No matter what their male, female, it's going to be the mom, regardless, because she birthed. Yeah, she birthed them.
What about you, K Money?
And I say the opposite. I think male or female is going to be the dad.
Okay. So here we go, coming to a close. None of us are able to pick our parents. And our parents don't know what type of child we will become. So for all you parents, one day your child will become an adult. Let's hope he or she is willing and able to show their appreciation for you. And by the way, showing appreciation doesn't always have to be monetary. This concludes another dope episode. Tune in tomorrow for Think Thursday. Don't forget to follow us on X, formerly known as Twitter, at 52 Scott Podcast, on Instagram and Facebook, the 52 Scott Podcast. And for all my YouTubers, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Remember, the only way we grow is if you let them know.